Hey you guys, my name is Mara Sullivan and welcome to my YouTube channel. First off, before I get into this video, I do want to apologize for any background noise that you can hear. I do have laundry going in my washer on the opposite side of this wall. And so I'm so sorry if you guys can hear that, but there was no other time for me to do it. It is what it is. I do apologize if you guys can hear it, but I will, try to speak up and keep the audio as clear as possible on this video. But today's video is going to be about being in survival mode, why you are in survival mode, some reasons why you are experiencing that, and how to get the heck out of survival mode if this is the era or the season that you are currently in. If you have not seen my first video on exiting survival mode, go check out that video. It is, pretty similar in a few ways to this one, but this video we're going to be talking about more specific reasons why you might be experiencing being in survival mode and, more tangible action steps that you can take to get out of it. If you, like I said, haven't seen that video, go check that one out after this one. But I do want to do another video on this topic because I got a lot of great feedback on that video. And I feel like it's a topic that, people do want to talk about more. I feel like it's something that's not really talked about enough is that a lot of us really are going through life surviving. We're not really living. And especially, going into the new year, I really want to make sure that, I am able to just spread the message as much as possible to make sure that, you are in a good place mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, in every area of your life, whatever that looks like for you. It's going to be different for everyone, the priorities and the areas of your life that are really important to you. But survival mode specifically is really living your life in a way that's just getting through the day, living your life in a way where every single day you wake up, you're going through the motions, you are doing all the tasks, you're checking all the boxes, and you're doing all of that with this like weight on your shoulders of just trying to make it through the day. And if you look like me and you're watching this video, if you have a similar skin tone, you got some melanin in you, we are born for the most part into survival mode. It is a huge thing with women of color, especially. This applies to everyone, everywhere, no matter your gender, race, background, whatever. But it is no secret that Black women do carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. A lot of time we, are the go-to people for everything, but especially for the hard things for some reason. We're just expected to just do it. We're just expected to be Nike and just do it, the greatest slogan of all time. We're expected to be strong. I hate how, intertwined being, the strong Black woman archetype is. And I like it to some degree, but, it is detrimental to many of us. If you have not seen any of my previous videos, go check them out. I talk about, I have a few videos on grief. I did lose my mom last year. She was very young. She was, only in her early 60s. I lost my mom last year, November, the day before Thanksgiving. I have, like I said, I have a story time about that and a whole bunch of grief videos already up. If you want to get to know me and more about my story. But she was my only immediate family. I have no siblings. I have no parents. And she did raise me 100% by herself. My dad has never been in my life, and so she was, a part of that category of women who just did it. All she knew was we just got to make it through the next day. We just got to get through today. You know what I mean? And that took a toll on her. And I want to make sure, that a huge part of my content and the message that I'm spreading in general is to help people as much as I can to not, literally work themselves to death, and to know that it is okay to give yourself permission to rest. It is okay to ask for help when you need it. To just know that you have options. And I think that, as a generation right now, I'm 26, and our generation does have a lot more options than those who have gone before us. You know, my mom's generation, my grandmother, a lot of our family members and women in our family, or men in our family, we all know like everyone struggles. Um, but a lot of people who are older than us did not have the options that we have today. We do have a lot more access to information. We do have a lot more options and opportunity for how we work, how we can choose to work. We have a lot more ways to make money now than people who are older than us had. The entire system of a traditional 9 to 5 is kind of falling apart as we speak. Um, so the world is changing in the way that, you know, my generation, I'm Gen Z, and it does get a reputation for being lazy. But I think that um, it's not so much about laziness with this generation, it's more so that we just have so many more options available to us that we don't have to live in that like box checking way of life where it's like college, work, marriage, family, kids, retire, die. Like we don't really have to do that anymore because of technology, because of all of the advancements that have been made. And so the first thing that I want to say is that if you are someone who is in survival mode and you feel like, you're really just trying to make it through the day, you really have to remember that you have options. If you're watching this, that means that you have Wi-Fi. That means that you have some form of the internet in whatever way that you are watching this. And so you do, have access to information on how to help yourself, even if you do not have people in your immediate family, if you do not have people in your immediate circle, in your, physical life who you know personally who can help you. You have access to information online. You have access to, help in a lot of different ways and a lot of different resources. Like I said, that our parents and our grandparents and people who are older than us did not have. And so the main thing that you have to do is to make sure that you are taking advantage of the access and of the resources that you do have available to you. Another thing is if you do have people in your life who you know can help you, ask for help. I think that so many people are struggling so much on a daily basis because they are too prideful to ask for help. Do not let your pride, do not let, the title that you've given yourself, being the strong friend, for example, do not let that get in the way of you asking for help when you need it. I think that when it comes to being in survival mode, when it comes to struggling, a lot of it can unfortunately be we're doing it to ourselves because we're not asking for help. We're not, speaking up. You are putting yourself in positions. Maybe you're saying yes to too many things. Maybe you're spreading yourself too thin. You are not sharing the responsibility. If you know that, you're in a friend group and you're the go-to, or in a family and you're the go-to, like spread that responsibility. You have to get to a point where if everyone is coming to you all the time expecting you to do all the things, at some point you got to say no and make them realize either someone else is going to step up to do it or it's just not going to get done. It's that simple. You cannot make yourself the bearer of everyone else's problems, the bearer of everyone else's responsibilities. You need to put yourself first. And yes, people are not going to like it. Yes, you might feel bad and experience guilt. You got to get over it because at the end of the day, you are all that you have. And if you are trying to, put yourself, if you are doing so much, and like I said, it is like sometimes an unhealthy sense of pride that, keeps a lot of people from asking for help, that keeps a lot of people from, speaking up when they know they can't do something, from saying no. It's your responsibility to take those things off of your plate. And so you really have to, like I said, get to a place where either somebody else is going to do it or it's just not going to get done. Because throw your hands up and be like, I'm tired. And that is one word that I feel like resonates again with Black women, specifically Black women, and being tired goes synonymously with each other. I always talk about Janae Aiko's song Born Tired. That I always call that song my life's lullaby. But it's so true because it's like the weight of the world is on so many of our shoulders, women specifically and Black women specifically. Again, I know that I want this video to apply to everyone, but us we go through a lot, and we go through a lot without saying anything. And just with the generational differences, like I said, I want this generation, and if you're watching this video, if you're in your 20s or if you're, a part of the younger generation, I want you to make sure that you are not, putting yourself in the same positions as your parents and as other women in your family. If you've seen them only struggle, like I said, my mom did raise me 100% by herself. She did amazing, but sorry guys, like being raised by, that's my washer. I'm so sorry. Being raised by a single mom, like I said, we didn't have much money. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. A lot of it was my childhood and my upbringing has been intertwined with a lot of struggle. Um, Obviously, not growing up with a ton of money, not growing up with, just a two-parent household. Like a lot of things make a huge difference. I don't have siblings, so things like that. And I definitely had an amazing childhood. My mom gave me everything, okay? Everything that she had, she gave to me. Everything that she had, she put in me. And I'm so grateful for that. But like I said, like my entire life has been woven with struggle. And then losing my mom at 25 last year was just like the icing on the cake to me living my entire life in survival mode. And so last year, for the most part, was the epitome of me being in survival mode. Like I was literally just trying to make it through the day every single day. I think anyone who experiences grief, experiences a major loss of anyone that you love in your life, when something that traumatic happens, you kind of do one of two things. Either you completely shut down, or you go the opposite route and you like sometimes will overdo it, um, just by like trying to make sure that you are staying on top of things and that you have to do everything. Is grief looks different for everyone. There's no right way to cope. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. Just make sure that if you are in that place, that you are doing what's best for you and that you are doing um, productive, healthy things to, get through it. I don't think that grief is something that you ever get over. It's something that you learn to live with. Um, but I know that, having healthy habits and routines and things like that have really helped me. And I have a ton of videos on things that have helped me through grief and all that on my channel and also on my podcast, which is Thoughts by Mara, available on all platforms. If you are going through grief and you want like more specific information on that, go check out those videos and the episodes that I have on my podcast about that. Um, but a lot of times we are struggling so much because you don't want to ask for help, because you don't want to speak up, because a part of you actually likes being the go-to person, even if you feel like you're so tired and you feel like everyone is asking you for stuff and you feel worn out and burnt out by it. A lot of times there's a part of you that actually likes that. And so you need to be honest with yourself about spreading yourself too thin. You need to be honest with yourself about why you actually are people pleasing. You need to be honest with yourself about why you keep saying yes when you know you don't have the capacity to take on more things. You have to be very honest with yourself about that. Whereas, what, do you have a part of you that really does need that external validation? And you need to do that deep work, that self work to, figure that out. Why you need, why a part of you actually likes the praise, why a part of you actually likes the, I don't know, like the validation that you get from doing things that other people need to do. You might actually love, the feeling that you get from showing up for people when you don't even show up for yourself. That's not a good thing. you know, Stop, telling yourself that if I don't do this, no one else is going to do it. Then no one else is going to do it. That doesn't mean you need to do it. You really need to. So sorry about my washer. But you really do need to get to the place where you are very honest with yourself about why you are doing the things that you are doing and take responsibility for your life. Remember that your health, your mental health, your physical health, your finances, everything is your responsibility 100%. No one else is going to put you first except for you, and people are going to treat you the way that you're treating yourself. If you are someone who is, being taken advantage of, if you are someone who keeps saying yes, that is on you. Like you are responsible for that. And a lot of times, a lot of us are addicted to struggle because it's all we know. Like I said, especially in our community, it's all we know is struggle. We're taught that it's just a part of life. And we got to rewrite that narrative, you guys. Like, actually, no. We deserve to live peaceful, easy lives. We got to get rid of that narrative that, you know, you gotta work blood, sweat, and tears to get the life that you want, especially today. You know, you we have so much more information, we have so much more access to so many different ways to make money, so many different jobs. Prayer, if you're a person of faith, use prayer, use manifestation, use your mindset, use your affirmations to create the life that you want. You can change your entire life by changing your mindset. And that's another huge part of survival mode. A lot of times, so much of it is mental because again we've been sold the narrative our entire lives that life is just hard and you just have to suck it up and deal with it when you don't have to. You don't really have to. You need to, if you're a person of faith, you need to make sure that you are praying. You need to make sure, but you're not. Faith without work is dead. And I used to think that that scripture meant like a literal work, but I'm realizing now that it's more mindset work. um that faith is so much more mental than physical, and the work that we do as humans is more about being. It's more about the mindset and the story that you're telling yourself every single day. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thoughts that you think and the thoughts that you think throughout your day are going to be the thoughts that create your reality. As cheesy or woo woo as it might sound, your thoughts really do create your reality. It's science. Like, that is not made up. Your thoughts do create your reality. And so the story that you're telling yourself every single day, if you're telling yourself life is so hard, I can never have what I want, you know, certain things that have happened in your life are the reason why you can't get to where you want to be. Whatever narrative, whatever story you're telling yourself every single day is what's going to show up for you. You have to change the narrative. You have to change the story that you're telling yourself, even when your external world looks completely different than the story you're telling yourself. It's up to you to be persistent and to be consistent in rewriting your story and to not accepting where you are right now. If you are in that season of survival mode, if you are in that season of, um, you know, just trying to make it through the day, of being exhausted, of being super tired, you have to rewrite your story and start telling yourself, I'm so full of energy, I'm so full of life. Whatever follows I am, we all know, is what is true for ourselves. I used to think that affirmations were so cheesy until I started affirming. And then, my life started changing because I started affirming. I started telling myself the thing that I already was the person, or I already am the person, that dream version of myself. I already am successful. I already do have everything that I already want. Again, it sounds too good to be true, but once you change your mindset, once you start telling yourself a different story, once you start affirming, once you start praying as if you already have the things that you want, once you start genuinely believing, and not just believing, but knowing that you can have a better life, that you deserve a better life, it's going to start showing up for you. And again, if you're someone who does take pride in being the go-to person, in being the strong friend, in being the one who always has it together, but deep down you are literally falling apart, it's your responsibility to stop, to genuinely just take stuff off your plate, to tell people no, to not let your pride get in the way of your health, and to genuinely start putting yourself first. If you know you need to go to sleep, go to sleep. You know you need to take a nap, take a nap. You need to turn your phone off, turn your phone off. You need to block that person, block that person. Everything about your life is up to you. You cannot blame other people for where you are in your life. Things may have happened in the past. Life isn't fair. Life sucks. I have every reason under the sun to not be smiling ever again. I have every reason of this under the sun to not keep going. I have every reason to hate my entire life. But that's not the story I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself that everything has happened. You know, it happened. And life is about how you respond to what happened and how you use what has happened, you know, to your advantage. I am deciding to use what I've been through and to use my story to hopefully help other people. Because listening to other people tell their stories is one of the major things that got me through grief. I became obsessed with hearing people tell their stories, and be open and honest and raw with them sharing their lives and their own experiences with grief and with hard things that they've been through in life. And so that's what I hope to do with my content, is to be open and honest and overshare, and to just make sure that that you're not alone. Make sure that that you're not the only person going through things. When we are going through things hard, when we feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, when we feel like um there is no hope, a lot of times it's isolating, and a lot of times you can feel like you're the only person going through it. You are never the only person going through it. So it helped me so much to hear other people's stories, in particular Suleika Juad. I talk about her in almost every single video. She is John Baptiste's wife. She is a cancer survivor. She has had cancer like multiple times. But she has a book called Between Two Kingdoms. She's releasing another book called The Alchemy. She's an incredible author. If you're going through anything hard, any life or death situation, especially, go get the book Between Two Kingdoms. Get yourself that book for Valentine's Day. It is like such a great self-care, comfort, beautiful read. But yeah, hearing other people share their stories and be super honest and super open has helped me so much. And so that's why I started this YouTube channel. It is why I you know love talking is my therapy. I've had my podcast for like 2 years now, and I love that. And I do get comfort in sharing my story, and just hoping that I can help at least one person out there. I really don't care too much about numbers or you know following trends or anything. I just want to hopefully just help at least one other person out there just by sharing my story, because I know what it's like to want to give up. I know what it's like to not I know what it's like to feel like everything is pointless. I know what it's like to not want to get out of bed. I know what it's like to just try to make it through the day. Like, follow those check boxes and live your life in a way where you're just surviving, but you're not living. And that is not how I am choosing to live my life going forward. I am choosing to actually enjoy my life, because I've seen firsthand how short it is. And none of us know when our last day is. And, those are like those cliche sayings that we hear all the time. But you genuinely have to figure out how to enjoy your life. And how you go about doing that is going to be up to you. But make sure that, like I said, you are not self sabotaging yourself. Make sure that you are not letting your pride get in the way of your health. Make sure that you are speaking up when you need to. Again, if you have people who can help you, or at least one other person who can help you, you need to ask. If you know that you are actually drowning, you need to speak up and not let yourself go under. Okay, this is your sign to actually ask for help. This is also your sign to make sure that you're having more fun. I think it's so important to give yourself permission to have fun, and I think it's so important to give yourself permission to rest. I think that those two things in adulthood specifically, like I said, I'm 26, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that so many people around me, my age and older, um, go into adulthood just thinking that you can't have fun anymore, and thinking that you can't rest, thinking that you can only be successful, you can only have the life that you want with experiencing burnout. You have to be exhausted doing all these things, and you can't have fun. And I think that one of the keys to making sure that you stay in a good place mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, is making sure that you are enjoying your life and that you are building a life that you love. And yes, that is going to take sacrifice. That is going to take being fearless and having courage and taking risks. And you might have to say no to some people and disappoint some people, but it's worth it. You get to decide what's worth it for you and what's not. You get to decide how you live your life. You get to decide who you say yes to and what you say yes to. And you have to put those boundaries in place with people, so that they know how you operate. Like, you cannot be everything to everyone. And be unapologetic about doing that. Be unapologetically yourself. I have a whole episode on that on my podcast. But you genuinely just have to get to a place where you're doing what's best for you. At the end of the day, that is what it all comes down to. That is, when you make up your mind that you are not living for other people, when you make up your mind that you are putting yourself first, even if you have a family, even if you have, children and people to take care of, if you are not okay, you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else. You actually do have to put yourself first. So your health has to come first. If you tell yourself you're going to be healthy, if you tell yourself you're going to get enough sleep, if you tell yourself you're not going to eat the junk food, you are responsible for keeping those promises to yourself. You can't blame anyone else for your life being in shambles if you're not doing your part in making sure that you are okay. You have to do your part. It really is 110% up to you. Your life is 110% up to you. Make sure that you are being mindful about the story that you're telling yourself. Like I said, also make sure that you're being super mindful about the content that you're consuming, because if all the content that you're consuming is negative, so much of, a lot of social media is so negative. We all know the news is negative and it's fear based. So many things are like so doom and gloom heavy. And you have to remember that what's true for other people and what's true for the world does not have to be true for you. You know, just because the world says that everything is expensive and we're in a recession does not mean that everything is expensive for me and that I'm in a recession. Because as for me and my house, we good over here. What's true for the world, what's true for everyone else does not have to be true for you. When I hear a bunch of women always say, all men are trash and there's nothing good out here and dating is hard. And, I know that it's slim pickings. Okay. I know that, gender roles are getting changed to say the least. And, you have, it's a little bit harder and all men are not the same, things like that. But that's not, a lot of that narrative and all that stuff is not true for me. All men are not trash. All men are not, cheap. You know, there are still very kind, very romantic, you know, gentlemen in the world. And everything is the story that you're telling yourself. What's true for other people does not have to be true for you. And so you really have to, a huge part of survival mode, a huge part of, you know, making sure that you are in a good place mentally is the story that you're telling yourself. Again, you have to think for yourself. Stop letting social media, stop letting the news, stop letting your friends, stop letting your family, your parents, your teachers, your coworkers tell you what's true for your life. If you know that you have dreams that you want to achieve and that you are going to accomplish them by any means necessary, that means you're going to do it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If other people are telling you you only can be successful by doing a certain thing or by, living your life a certain way, just because it's true for them doesn't mean it has to be true for you. You get to decide how you live your life. You genuinely get to decide what's true for you and true for your life. You do. It is so up to you. Everything about your life is up to you. Please remember that. Please take responsibility for your life so that you are not going through life dependent on other people, so that you're not going through life playing the blame game, so that you are not going through life, surviving and not just living. You have to build a life that you genuinely enjoy living. And that starts with taking responsibility for your life. That starts with thinking for yourself. That starts with, being mindful of the stories you're telling yourself, being mindful of the content you're consuming, and everything else that you're consuming, internally, everything you're putting in your body, taking your health seriously, taking your rest seriously, exercise, finances, every area of your life that, is making up the quality of your life is your responsibility. And it is up to you to make the changes that you need to make. It is up to you to say no when you need to. It's up to you to say yes when you want to and when you need to. If you know that you need to start saying yes more, you need to get out the house, you know that you need to do some more things that are going to make you feel good and confident and sexy and fun and just live a better quality life. It's up to you to do those things. It is up to you to remove and to get rid of everything and everyone in your life who does not need to be there, who does not deserve to be there. Your life is up to you. Your life is up to you. If there are things about your life that you don't like, you have to change them. And you also have to believe that you can genuinely have whatever you want. I know it's so hard to believe because we are raised in a society that tells us that we can't have what we want and you have to just accept things and it's just the way that is. And life is so hard and you have to struggle, and you know, you can have what you want. You have to believe that you can have what you want, and you have to tell yourself and be persistent every single day and knowing that you can have what you want. And you know, you have to make up in your mind that no matter what happens, no matter what the outside world looks like, no matter what people are telling me, no matter if I experience failure, no matter how many times I get told no, no matter, regardless of numbers or money or anything, you know that you can have what you want. And once you make up your mind and you don't give yourself an option, you're going to live the life that you want by any means necessary. You're not going to give yourself the option. You're not going to make excuses for yourself because you're going to be holding yourself to such a high standard that, there's no other reality that's possible for you except the one that you want. That comes with inner work. Life is lived from the inside out, not from the outside in. A lot of us want the outside to change so that we can change. That's not how that works. You change on the inside first. You start living more in your imagination. You start affirming and speaking those things that are not as though they are. That's Bible. That's all faith is. If you're someone who gets weird about manifesting or affirmations or living in your imagination and that kind of stuff, having faith, no matter what you believe in or who you believe in, is genuinely just believing in the things that you cannot see. It's delusional. Faith itself is delusional. Faith itself is unrealistic. So why would you try to, live a normal, average, realistic life if you're a person of faith, if you're a person who believes in something that you can't see or someone that you can't see? You know what I mean? Like, believing in God, any type of divine spiritual power, is something that we can't actually see, you know? And so you have to live your life according to that. If your life isn't looking the way that you want it to, you have to be unrealistic or be delusional enough to, you know, start telling yourself that you are already living the life that you want, that you are already the person you want to do, living where you want to live, driving what you want to drive, with the people you want to be with, or the person you want to be with. You are living the life that you already want. You're already, whatever insert job title or stay at home title you can insert. Tell yourself every single day that you already are that person, that you already are living that life. Again, faith is believing those things that are not as though they already are, calling those things that are not as though they already are. The number one way to get out of survival mode is to change your mindset. And I know that that sounds way too good to be true. I know that it sounds too easy, but life is a series of your thoughts, and your decisions do create your reality. It's that simple. Every single decision, every single thought, every single thing that you do in your life on a daily basis, all of the action that you take is up here. Everything that you eat, you tell yourself, am I going to eat that? I'm going to eat that. Am I not going to eat that? I'm not going to eat that. Am I going to go walk today? Yeah, I'm going to go walk today. Am I going to exercise? I'm going to exercise. Am I going to apply for that job? I'm going to apply for that job. Everything is up here. Life is mental. Your entire life is in your head. Your entire life is in your head. I know, again, society makes us to believe that every external controls us internally. It's the opposite. Your internal controls your external. So get really, centered within yourself. Come back to life. Like, bring yourself back to your center and start living your life from the inside out. If you got anything from this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If there's been, anything that has helped you to exit survival mode, if there's been anything that has been really helping you through difficult times, please comment those things down below. And if you, like I said, have not checked out any of my other videos, go do so and subscribe to the channel. I'm so happy to have you here, a part of this community. Like I said, I make videos under the general umbrella of living the life that you want, regardless of your circumstances, and navigating life's BS gracefully. That is what we're doing over here. I hope that you guys got any good takeaways from this video. If you did, again, let me know it down below, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.